Hello, everybody. My name is Gillian. I'm on the island of St. Martin in the Caribbean. I just arrived yesterday. It's nice to be home, but I do want to put a shout out though to those in Canada that I got to meet in person. It was amazing to meet these beautiful people in Canada. And tonight's topic is something that I absolutely love, absolutely love. I'm not sure we're going to be streaming live tonight, but maybe I'll do so on my Facebook, just so that for those that are not able to join us live right now. So just give me a moment while I set this up. I'm going to set it up on Facebook. 1 second. So bear with me. I'm going to continue as myself. All right. And share on your timeline. I'm going live. Okay, perfect. Okay. All right. So on that note, it's just preparing and buffering. So right now we are live on Facebook, everybody. So bear with me. I'm a stand-in for the beautiful and talented Claudia, who was supposed to be doing the call tonight, but sometimes you have to spend time with family. So we're giving her the night off. Okay. All right. You deserve it, Claudia. Thank you very much for everything that you do. So if you're able to join the live, please do so. It's always interesting to learn from the master himself, Mr. Upline Pro. Mr. Dave Daughtrey, who is one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, primarily because he amuses me in so many different ways. And I'll let him share the story as to why he's a little bit banged up today, because, Dave Daughtrey, you always have a story to tell. And that's the whole premise as to why we love tonight's topic, which is prospecting. Now, prospecting, a lot of times that involves being a great storyteller to letting people know what you do and what you love. So tonight, I am proud to introduce one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, my mentor, my business coach in life, Mr. Dave Daughtrey. And the topic tonight is on prospecting. So you're in for a treat. So if you don't see the live right now, but you are a member of our For Life community, make sure you hop on tonight, because if you're suffering in business, there's the number one skill you may need to look at and refresh on is prospecting. Everything starts with that. If you don't introduce people to what you love, how are they going to know? But how is your business going to grow? So over to you, Dave Daughtry. I'm going to spotlight you. All right, spotlight for everybody. And let us know a little bit first about why you're a little bit banged up.
Yeah, I've got my little unicorn thing going here. Excuse me, guys. I was actually getting ready to record some content for Upline Pro, and I was setting up and I banged my head. I didn't realize how hard I banged it because blood started dripping down. And I thought, oh, so I went to see Gabby. She put me back together. So anyhow, that'll be coming off later on tonight. So here I am. I've got this Band-Aid on. So excuse me, but yeah, that's what happened. But Jillian, talking about prospecting, it's a
Audrey,
funny thing because some people look at prospecting and they go, "Oh, I have to prospect." Look, prospecting is a simple, natural thing that we really do regularly, anyways. It's simply communicating, but you do it with a focus. All right. In other words, obviously, those of us that are here today on this call and those are listening in on Facebook Live, we are sharing a company, a product, an opportunity, even a concept that is new to some people. The concept of joining a community, joining a team, a family of people that are all working together, teaching each other, learning from each other. Like I learned from you very much, Jillian, and from others that are here as well. We learn from each other. And it's all about the community. It's all about development. All right. Prospecting it comes natural to some people. Others have to work at it a little bit more, but it's all about developing the skill. All right. And it is a skill. Some people, like I said, they're just natural prospectors because they're natural communicators. Prospecting really is communicating. And there's only two ways to communicate. Either you talk to them or they talk to you. Now, when I learned about network marketing at the age of 21 years old, it was really 99% you go communicate with them. Sure, you had newspaper, you had, maybe magazines, you could put an ad in, try to get people to reach out and communicate with you. But I never did that. And I was taught really never to do that. But Gillian, I'm sure, will be talking a little bit tonight about that part of prospecting, where you can actually now, through social media, these various platforms, you can, put out there some content, some information, and it catches someone's interest. And now they reach out to you. So you start doing both, you see. So you can actually have greater success today in your prospecting efforts or your communicating efforts because you've got all these tools. And you need to know how to use those tools. But still, I will say this. At the end of the day, if you want to be successful, not just at this business, but any business, you need to be a good communicator, and you're going to have to talk to the person face to face, whether it's live or on a Zoom, but you have to communicate with them. Back in the day when I started, it was picking up the telephone and talking to them. Well, you can still do that, but a lot of people really like to see who they're talking to. So we have a way of doing that today. So use that tool. So let me just share with you real quick a story, because prospecting, when you're talking to people, as Gillian mentioned earlier, it is storytelling. You're sharing a story with someone. It could be the story of you, your testimony, like, hey, you're talking to someone and they're coughing, let's say, and they say, oh my gosh, that COVID sure got to me. For some reason, I'm still having challenges, with my lungs. Hey, let me share with you, I had kind of the same problem. Let me share with you something I've been using that I really like. It's called transfer factor lung. And you share your story. It's storytelling. Well, this morning, let's go back yesterday morning because it all started yesterday. I took Odin, my dog, every morning we go for a walk. I take him down to the baseball field. Yesterday morning, we're walking around and this guy shows up and he has his dog with them. His dog's name is Pearl. I'm going to ask Gillian, if you don't mind, maybe you can make me co-host. I'll kind of help monitor the sound as well. And his dog Pearl started playing with my dog. Look, when the kids are playing, the adults should be talking, right? And we started talking. He had a cane. And I asked him, I said, is the cane a permanent thing? It might be a personal question, but I said, is the cane a permanent thing or temporary? And he said, it's temporary. He said, I'm getting an MRI, I hurt my knee. And we started talking. I asked him, if he was retired, because I could tell by his age. I assumed he was in his 70s. Turns out he's 81. He says, yeah, retired. I was a hospital engineer, and I didn't really get into what that was because he asked me very quickly what I did. You ask me what I do, you've now opened the door for me to do a little bit of prospecting. It's natural. It's fun. I get a kick out of it because I tell people I'm a networker. I actually market a health and wellness product and teach people how to do it right from their home. We don't do the conventional or traditional way of advertising, no television, no radio. It's all word of mouth. And I just started sharing with them some of the wonderful benefits of this business. And I got into the now today, actually during the first conversation yesterday, he had to leave. He said, you know what, I've got to go. He said, but I'll be back tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning, which was today. And he showed up today. We started talking. I got more into the product with him today. And he was asking me a lot of questions, and it was interesting. I always say, when you're prospecting, it's like a game of chess. You don't know what move you're going to make until they make a move. I started talking about products. I was explaining a little bit about transfer factor because I'm fascinated by how it works. And he kept going to the opportunity. I could tell that he wants to make a little bit of money. He's not happy. He's retired. He's on social, and I cracked a joke. He goes, "Yeah, I'm on Social Security." And I said, "It might be real social, but it isn't very secure." And he laughed. So again, the skill of prospecting, you have to connect with the individual. All right. And that's done with practice, honestly. Now, some people are natural at it. With me, it's taken me years and years of meeting people, communicating with people, getting to know people, identifying with people, and really learning to find out as quickly as possible what their needs are. In this case, he wants to make a little more money. His name's Mike. And so I started telling him about the opportunity. And he said, I don't want to get rich, but I really do want to enjoy. He said, I think I got another 10 to 15 years left in me. And he's 81. So we're talking 96 years old. That's pretty awesome. So anyhow, my goal now is to invite him on one of these calls so you can all meet him. His name's Mike. Prospecting, again, it should be fun, natural. Don't make it work. All right. Become just a natural networker. All right. Now, for me, prospecting, well, I say this when networking, which is prospecting. It's not what we do, it's who we are. Here's the difference. When you think about what you're doing all the time, all right, it's like, okay, I got to get on the phone, I got to prospect, I got to call people, got to work my list. All right. And I do that too. I've got my list, I got people I follow up with, I've got my routine. But a real networker doesn't close their door at 7 p.m. It's always open. You could be at Home Depot asking, the person there, "Hey, where's your light bulbs at?" And they walk you over there and they start talking. Next thing you know, they're engaging in conversation. All right. Use your skills, have fun with it. That person that's at Home Depot, they may be looking at a way to move up in life a little bit. Maybe they're interested in a home-based business. Maybe they're tired of working at Home Depot, making probably close to a minimum wage. So that's how I think all the time. I'm always with my antennas up. In other words, I'm always prepared in conversation. Now, I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not fanatical. All right. I'm not running up and down the street, jumping up and down, waving a for life flag. But I take advantage of each moment I have. If you're on an airplane, like Gabby and I will be flying to Utah. There's been a couple times that we have flown where we didn't sit together. It just so happened that we had to get a quick flight, and she sat in the row in front of me. If you're sitting next to me on a plane, you're going to get prospected. You cannot sit next to me, unless you're so introverted, you put your head in a book and you don't even want to look. Yeah, I leave those people alone. Why am I going to bug them? But anytime they engage in a conversation, I start talking to them. And I find on a flight, it's nice because the time goes by faster when you're talking, you're on an airplane. But I am honestly fascinated by what other people do. I really am. I've sat next to people, ask them what they do. Turns out, one of them was a movie producer, Marcus Visiti. I never heard of Marcus Visiti, and I bet you guys have never heard of Marcus Visiti. But if you look up Marcus Visiti, Marcus Vicidi, you'll see that he's produced amazing movies with Reese Witherspoon, with Tom Cruise, and he's a great movie producer. We talked for hours and hours on the plane. Now, I know he's not going to jump into for life and do it full time. He's a movie producer. But still, I enjoy the conversation. In that conversation, just because you're not, talking for life all the time, you're still developing the skill of communication. You know what I'm saying? The skill of identifying with that individual, the skill of learning about them. So all these skills only develop with action, with engagement. It's the, as Gillian was talking earlier, it's the lifeblood of our business. So my question would be to everybody here, are you actively prospecting? All right. And if you don't like that word, are you actively communicating? Are you actively engaging in conversation with people, talking about what you do, the company you represent that you're an affiliate with? I don't like to use the word distributor much anymore. I just say I'm an affiliate or I'm a representative of a company, multinational company called For Life. And I ask trigger questions. Have you heard of it? What do you think? You know, ask a question that they need to answer. Okay. But in your prospecting or your communicating efforts, you do need to have some sort of system. All right. I can't tell you how many times I come across people in my career of networking where they say, "Oh, yeah, so and so talked to me about that." In fact, it just happened. Was it yes? Yeah, it was yesterday on one of my calls. I did a lot of calls yesterday. I think it was a Spanish one where a lady comes on, and or maybe it was the English one, and she says, "Yeah, somebody told me about For Life, and they told me, to get on here, and whoever told them wasn't even on the call, and they couldn't even remember." And I'm like, how many people fall through the cracks and actually get harvested, is the word I like to use, by someone else? And there's somebody plants a seed and somebody else harvests it by signing that person up. You have to have a system. Keep track of your prospecting efforts, who you talk to, when you talk to them, maybe a little about what the conversation was about. I use a CRM. Well, two CRMs actually. One, pen and paper. Here it is. The other one, Act. All right, I've been using Act for a long time. I keep notes on people in Act, but I find it much faster for me just to draw on a piece of draw. I do doodle, but I write on a piece of paper a little bit. That person, whatever. Maybe what time I need to get back to them. Sometimes it could be what we discussed, something we have in common. The whole point is, it's a system, and if you work the system regularly, I promise it will work for you. You eventually start finding people, and it could happen quick. It might take a little bit longer, finding people that are very interested in what you do. Like this guy, Mike, that I talked to yesterday. He's genuinely curious and wants to know more about my type of business. All right. So, in your prospecting efforts, have a system. All right. Work on your skill, have fun with it. All right. In other words, don't take it so seriously. Don't worry about whether that person's going to say, yeah. I never even think about it. Yes or no. I don't think about it. My goal is to get them signed up or get them involved. But my attitude's really simple. Anytime I engage in a conversation, prospecting with someone, I know one of three things are going to happen. I don't stress about which one it is. Nothing, but it's really not nothing. You just, and we'll talk about this in a second, you just made a new friend. Or maybe that person you already know and you're prospecting, they're not ready. Just because they're not ready isn't your fault. All right? You're looking for people that are ready. But trust me, as you work your business, as you become more successful, all of a sudden people see you and they get inspired. All right? And your efforts to influence become greater. And all of a sudden they start to get more interested. Imagine right now you're making $10,000 a month. You're driving a new car. Life is changing. People around you see that. Do you think that all of a sudden they might get a little bit more interested? Of course they will. But you have to work at that. You have to develop that. You have to take it to that level. Some will be interested in the very beginning when you're getting started because they genuinely want an opportunity as well. And you've presented it to them. They come to the team, they see who we are, what we're about, and they get real interested in it. All right. Some might take a little bit longer. That's why you have to have a system. It might be today. It might be next week. It might be next year. I've had people get a hold of me after 20 years and say they're finally ready. It's insane, but they have. So in your prospecting, when you're talking cold market, there's pros and cons to cold market. Honestly, I think there's more pros than cons. I guess the con would be, if there was one, you have to open up and learn to talk to somebody who you've never talked to before. So what? Here's the pro. You can be who you want to be. You could be an intergalactic diamond if you want. They don't know the difference. They have no idea. So that's how you can make changes yourself, by just, all of a sudden talk like a doctor. I couldn't believe it when people started calling me on the phone 26 years ago, and I say, "This is Dave," and they say, "Hey, doctor." I'm not a doctor, but I just started talking like one when I started talking transfer factor. I listened from others, I learned, and I shared. And as I shared it, people all of a sudden thought I was a doctor. I'm not a doctor. But the point is, talking to cold market, you can be who you want to be. And you know what? They don't know the difference. They don't know if you signed up yesterday or you signed up 20 something years ago. Now, they may all of a sudden, identify some things with you, like sometimes cold market people identify that, you don't know what you're talking about. That's why you have to practice a little bit, come from a position of strength when you're talking to anybody, really. But cold market people, like me talking to Mike, he could tell that I knew what I was talking about. I was confident in my conversation with him. I was direct. I told him why I love this. I would tell him many times, I'm blessed. And he goes, "You are blessed, you know, to travel the world." I told him I'm off to Singapore in a couple of weeks. I'm going to Utah to see Gillian and Claudia in Utah here. And then I'm off to Singapore a couple of days after that. I was in Brazil last month. And he goes, "Wow, you got the life, don't you?" I said, "Yeah, I'm very blessed. Bring my dog down here every morning." So the point is, in cold market, you can be who you want to be. Don't worry about it. Those are great opportunities to make changes. What kind of changes? Step up your level of enthusiasm. Step up your level of confidence. Try things different. I remember where at one time I was afraid to shake people's hands. And now I like shaking people's hands. I've learned how to, when you shake a lady's hand, you shake it different than a man's hand. Now, Mike, when I met him yesterday, he shook my hand. I was trying to be gentle. He's 81 years old. The guy about tore my hand off. And I even told him, I said, "Man, you got a strong handshake." So again, we connected. Why did we connect? Because neither of us was afraid. So get rid of that fear. All right. So in your prospecting, one, friendship. It's about gaining friendship with people as quickly as you can. All right. Number two, you want to try to get their confidence. How do you gain confidence? How do you win someone's confidence? Through your actions. All right. You do that, or trust, gaining their trust. All right. That only happens if you continue. You follow up with them. You let them know you care about them. They realize you're genuine. You're coming from the heart. You're not trying to take advantage of them. And then when they sign up, understand they're delicate. All right. A new person that signs up is doing it with faith, especially if they're cold market. They don't know you yet. Like Gillian's a good example. Gillian and I, we met each other. Cloud had been talking about Gillian for a year, more than a year probably. And I met Gillian, and when we meet Gillian, probably about 7, 8 months ago for the first time.
Yeah, exactly. Probably a little bit more than that, actually, about 9 or 10 months ago.
9 or 10 months ago we met, and I heard a lot about Gillian. But here now, over the months, less than a year, we've just developed great communication. We do even our Gillian is wonderful when it comes to systems and creation And I'm learning a lot from her, but we do our private calls together for Upline Pro, working on a system together that we're going to be unveiling. So, but the point is that every single person, everyone in your organization, it all begins with that initial conversation. All right. And then you develop that friendship, or if you have that friendship with someone already, you want to gain their trust. Even with friends that you have, they might look at you and say, you know what have you done? You've never really been, they don't believe you. You've never really done anything before. So what makes this difference? You're just trying to sell me on something. No. So you have to sell yourself to them, meaning that I'm serious about building this business. I'm inviting you to come along. And I told people this. I said, look, I'm inviting you. Let's do this together. All right. I want to build this network. To do it, I have to do it with people. I can't do it alone. So if it's not going to be you, it'll be someone else. Let's do it together. Now, my conversations many times with people, and I even told Mike this, the people I sponsor and work with that stay with me become millionaires. That's a fact. I've got a number of millionaires now, that I've sponsored and even in my downline that I've spent years and years working with. My promise is that I will never leave you. You might leave me, but I'll never leave you. I'm here. I keep walking this walk and talking this talk and going on the path of success. So you gain people's trust through your actions. You gain their confidence through your actions. All right. At the end of the day, it's all about developing. Develop that skill because it is a skill. Understand you can lose money. You can lose freedom. Happened during COVID. We were all quarantined. You can even lose health. All kinds of things in life you can lose. But you know what you can't lose? Your skills. Nobody can take your skills. You can lose all. Let's say you've become this amazing networker. You're platinum international diamond. It took you 10 years or 12 years. If you lost it all, guess what? You would do it in a few years all over again because you know how. You've got the skills. And that's what I love about not just this business, but our community of Upline Pro working together. It's all about helping people develop skills. And if you feel like, oh, I'm introverted, I get nervous, you know what? We can't force you to make changes, but we can help you practice. Seriously, we can do Zoom trainings and say, look, let's practice. All right, let's do a little bit of one-on-one. All right, coaching, and other people can listen in and have a conversation. There's all kinds of things we can do when it comes to training, but you have to be willing to, and you have to have that desire to develop that skill. So I'm a big fan, you guys, of reaching out to people and talking to them. Now, when it comes to the social media and getting them to come to you, that's something that I'm learning and I'm working on. Gillian, that's one of her expertise. She's really good at the whole social media universe, if you will, because there's a lot of platforms from TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. I mean, there's probably a dozen of them that you can use, and then connecting them all together. But you still have to create the content. That's a skill in itself. Because let's say you're a quiet, shy person, you're not going to attract a lot of people if you're trying to create some content and you come across like, you don't care. You have to be dynamic. You have to give people a reason to be curious about what you're doing. Now, then, of course, let's say I'm not going to do a video. I'm just going to put some text, with a picture on my Facebook. All right, you can try that. But my opinion, honestly, and Gillian, you can jump in on this. My opinion, when you do that, you know, you are basically um, limiting yourself. And, the chances, it's kind of like when I joined network marketing, it'd be like putting an ad in USA Today magazine. I'm looking for a networker. I'm looking for someone that's interested in making money. All right. Could happen. In my well, no, my 44 years now of networking, I had one person answer USA Today ad. That was in the 80s, and joined. Never did anything, but they joined. That's just not me. All right. But it can be done. You can try it. But I think you're going to have greater success by developing the skill of communication. And if you're going to do video content, you know, learn how to be a little dynamic and create curiosity. All right. Do something. In fact, we were talking about this today on our Upland Pro call. I think we got a really cool thing coming up here with different type of graphic, where it could create curiosity for people wanting to know more about who we are, what we do, about the community. Come on in, have a look, be curious, all right, ask questions. We're here to help. So, Gillian, with that, if you don't mind sharing from your end a little bit about the social media side of prospecting, please.
Well, I think sometimes we get bogged down with the fact that we have probably the one of the most unique opportunities in life right now, and COVID should be a great example of what people were forced into. Um, we have an opportunity to communicate to the masses faster than you could ever do in person. So how can you do that? Like, you just have to get over the fact that you're not, you have this opportunity in front of you where you can actually just have a conversation and build relationships. But first, people have to get to know you and trust you. So how are you showing up every day on social media? How are people interpreting your life when you plaster something on social media? So whenever you make a negative post, or maybe you don't realize what the words that you're presenting and how it can affect your brand, because you are basically representing you and your brand, regardless of where you share information. So think about that before you do anything, and maybe you might be upset with somebody, but that's always going to be out there. So you got to be careful what you present in terms of your image that you want your potential, business partners or even family, get to know about you. There's some things you can say in private, but you're basically showing everybody and inviting people into your home when you are presenting on social media. So think about that. And when we talk about prospecting online, um, I think the way I've become more comfortable, I used to be very direct on prospecting. And yes, there are times where I'll post a post and people can see it because I want to make sure the communication is out there because we have a great offer. And that's because I believe in it. So you talked about the traits of prospecting that you want yourself, and what you're used to doing is building trust and confidence because you believe in it. If you don't believe in it and then the message doesn't come clear enough, when you're talking to people in person, imagine what it's like when you're online. If you're, talking in two different languages online in terms of your viewpoints, not necessarily the language you speak, but your viewpoints, then how can anybody trust you? So how you show up online has to be consistent and in line with your messaging. So we're working with a company that is all about health and wellness, and I'm talking about detoxing. Does it pay for me to, make sense for me to go off and showcase that I'm off, drinking and gallivanting and having all this, extended life on imagery online, when it's not, it goes against what I'm trying to exude in terms of my brand and what I believe in. So think about the message that you're presenting. And in terms of when you want to attract like-minded people, because that's what we want to do. We want to attract like-minded people, become that version of yourself that you want to attract and showcase that online. And it's about the life you want to attract too. So positivities, like my brand is Feel Good Share Goods. It's all about letting people know why I feel good today. And I want to share that why to the world. So right now, Yes for Life is part of that, because I've been introduced to amazing people, community, and amazing products that help me feel good. And if that is my message and my belief, and if you don't walk in with that message in person, but and you don't have that message online, how are people going to know? You don't have to scream it, because when you start screaming it out there and it becomes everything to say out of your mouth, people don't believe you. They think that you're trying to sell them. We're not selling, we're sharing. We're sharing what we believe. So we've got to get away from that 4-letter word that nobody wants to hear. Nobody wants to be sold.
Right.
Nobody wants to sell them. We want to change that to a 5-letter word, which is sharing, like share. I want to share. I'm sharing what I believe in,
And
because
invite.
and invite. And you're right. And then the other word, 5-letter word I like is trust. So if I don't trust you, Dave, I wouldn't be working with you, right? So
Right.
my reputation, my hope in time now has been allowing other people to, trust that what I believe in is a good thing. I mean, if it's a good thing for me, if it's good for me, it's going to be good for you. So if we have that opportunity to share that, then why are we not? So that's what you have to remember with social media, that you are the voice and you can talk to many by sharing what you believe in. And even if it's just a thought about how you felt today, I experienced this after, being on this program for a certain amount of time, and I feel really good about it. And I need to share this because it's important for me to get the word out. You can do it in a way that's not going to scare people off. And we do recommend 80% of your time that you present something is usually something that lets people know a little bit about how you're living. It's lifestyle post. The other 20 is business. 80% lifestyle, how you're living your life, and the other 20 is about business. So that is just a little tip that I can share. And I've probably I've been guilty of not doing that, but it's something I have to remind myself to go back to, because sometimes I get so excited about presenting what I love that I forget that maybe not all the audience knows who me personally am. They need to get to know me personally. They need to trust that I'm a human being, that I have faults, and I may not, they want to get a window into who I am. That's what social media is great. That's why stories are great. That's why there's so many different platforms, because you can target how you communicate depending on which platform you use. So there are so many ways to leverage this, and there's nothing stopping you from having a conversation online with somebody and building that rapport, and start with wishing somebody a happy birthday. You can sit there
Right.
and check on how many people's birthdays are today. Do something as simple as that, and it opens up an opportunity to have a conversation in the future.
You can also, there's all kinds of groups out there, that you can, if you're really into the whole social media scene, we have our group, we have Upland Pro. We invite people to come in. There's cooking, there's sports, there's music, there's all kinds of these groups, networks of people. I mean, networking, you think about it, it's something everybody does. Your circle of friends are a network. If you go to church, your church is a network of people in the same, church that you're in. If you are let's say you're a dentist and you belong to the dentist association, that's a network, of dentists. The point is, networking should just be something that naturally we all do. I do want to say this. I meant to mention this earlier. When you do speak to someone, or you're prospecting, one of three things will always happen, and two of them are in your favor. Two of the three. Nothing, but you planted a seed. You've got, you shared it with someone who did your job. You told them about it. All right. Maybe they're not ready. That's not your fault if they're not ready. All right. Number two, they want to try your product. It's very possible the guy I'm talking to, Mike, he might say, you know what, let me try your product. In fact, I plan on taking him a sample tomorrow. He wants to see me tomorrow morning. I'll take him a sample. If I take him a Rio Vita stick, an Energy Go stick, just give it to him, give it a try, But a customers make great, networkers too. Number three, they want to make some money immediately and they sign up because they want to start bringing some other people to the table. So two of the three are in your favor. All right. The other thing I want to say is this. this applies to every single one of us, even me. Understand that your prospecting efforts, your networking efforts today, you don't see the results of that for at least 3 months. Sometimes it's 6 months down the road because you're planting seeds, talking to people. Yeah, you might sell some product and you might even sign a couple people up. But really, to start gaining that momentum, it takes some time. All right. That's why you want to constantly have people in the pipeline. What am I at the pipeline? That means you've got your page or whatever system you're using. You've got people that you're regularly communicating with and new people you're looking for. You're out scouting, right? You're doing it all. And then what's great is that in prospecting, and we'll talk about this and we'll finish up. And this is why I love networking so much. Love this. Is there anybody here on this call, this Zoom, that I personally have sponsored? Not one. Not one. So it's not all about who you sign up. You might sign up one person who brings 5 people to the table. And then they bring some people to the table. So you start working your downline, you see? So prospecting isn't always you finding that new person. Anderson, a guy in Brazil, he got a hold of me this morning. He says, Dave, I've got a lot of new people on the team. I want them to meet you. Can I have an hour to 2 hours of your time? I told him earlier today, I said, not today. I hit my head. I got a big headache. Let's do it either tomorrow or on Thursday. So he's going to introduce me to his new people. You see, now I'm going to go through that process with them of making friends, hopefully starting to establish some trust. Okay. I guarantee you at some point down the road, there will be a call, a Zoom, or somebody will message me and they'll say, Dave, I've got so-and-so. Can you talk to this person with me because Anderson's not available or the sponsor's not available? That's you working your downline. So prospecting isn't just you trying to sign up someone new. It's you working your downline also and helping them prospect. And let me tell you, it really becomes a wonderful thing when your phone is ringing all the time or your emails are coming in or your WhatsApp is going off and people are saying, hey, I got so-and-so. Can you talk to them? I got so-and-so. I have to say no sometimes, especially lately, because I'm trying to work on the system that Gillian and I are working on and the team. So, but it's wonderful. Wouldn't you all like to have your WhatsApp going crazy and your messages coming in every day and people asking you saying, hey, I had one come in from Maria, and I don't even know who Maria's under. She's in England, and she says, Dave, I've got someone that could be really good in Kenya. Do we have business in Kenya? Yeah, Dr. Ogina's in Kenya. We do Zooms every Monday, Mentor Monday. They're on. The Kenya group is on. And Thursday morning they're on. So I told her, I said, let's talk tomorrow. Let me know when we can get your Kenyan on. Let's talk. The point I'm trying to make is as you work your downline, you're going to find yourself spending more time prospecting with them than you are trying to find new people. But in the beginning, you have to find new people. You can't work your downline until you sponsor someone yourself. But as quickly as possible, get into their world, get into their circle of friends, their circle of influence. And the only way that's going to happen is if they trust you. They're not going to open up their door and bring people to the table for you to help prospect and present and get to know unless they trust you. And the only way that's going to happen is if you practice, you get good at it, and it becomes natural. And they're like, you know what? Call Anna. She has all the answers. Call Sophia. She knows everything. Call Adriana. She's amazing. Call Gillian. Call Carlos. So that's what you want, but you have to establish that. And you do that by declaring yourself. Don't be afraid to declare yourself. So with that, I don't know if anybody has any questions, comments, suggestions, Gillian?
I don't see any comments in the chat, but if anybody has some questions before we close up for the evening, please raise your hand. We all good? No?
Keep working on your skills, everyone.
Wait,
Prospect, you know, if you want the
Sonia
word
does.
prospect, just communicate.
All right, so Sonia does. I'm just going to add a spotlight to her. Sonia, yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Dave, I really appreciate everything that you said today about prospecting because honestly, it is building that trust. And Jillian, and you mentioned it's about, I can go to your page, Jillian, and I can see what you're about. And that's the thing is I think a lot of us are coming from having a profile or a Facebook group or whatever it is that we have, and we've made it a mosh posh of a lot of stuff where we need to start zoning in on what, I know for myself, when I go to a page or a profile or anything, if that's what I like, then you start streaming on their line, just looking at it, you'll see like things on there and it just keeps me intrigued. So I think that your message today about us really honing down our profiles or our pages, whatever it is that we're using, have to be that message that we want to convey. So when you send somebody a message, because that's what tends to happen to me. I send somebody a message, guess what they do? They come and check me out on my profile.
Right.
So if there's stuff on there that has nothing to do with what I'm doing, it probably is like, they're all over the map. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Actually,
that's a very good point, Sonia. It's very true that people, before someone's willing to expose themselves, they want to check you out as much as they can. They want to,
Mhm.
check out, they may even go and do a search on you. But the point is that you really want to, if you're going to expose yourself, you want to do it so that people are interested in you, because at the end of the day, they buy you. If they're going to join you, they want to know who you are. You know, this is more than just selling a bottle of transfer factor.
Right. One of my friends told me that what she does when she doesn't really care for the post that she makes, she'll make it in stories, right? But then she'll keep posts that she truly likes in her profile. So
Right.
maybe it's time for us to, every so often go into our profiles or our pages and take a look at what we have and start purging out what doesn't, agree to our message or is part of our message. And maybe just do a story next time where it goes away. You know what I mean?
Right.
actually, it's
Yep.
interesting that I do actually have a free checklist. I remember when I first got introduced to For Life, I did a training on how to elevate your brand on social media. And if you're a member of Upline Pro, if you're not part of Upline Pro Inner Circle, please make sure you join that today. So maybe, Sonia, I don't know if you can share the link maybe in there, but
Yeah, I'll go
I'm
get it right now.
Yeah, I'm going to just share the checklist. It's a simple checklist for you to check to make sure that you are representing the best that you can for your social media brand. Okay, so I'll share that inside the we have to find it inside the inner circle for Upline Pro. Okay. All right, guys. So make sure you join the group and I'll make sure for those that are
Put the
part of the
calendar in there.
team get that. Okay. All right. Got it? Thank you.
Thank you,
Perfect.
everyone, for joining in tonight. Hopefully, we all gain some more knowledge, excited about continuing to, whether you're starting, you've been involved for years, continuing to network and build, your business, build the community, build the family, and do this together. I feel very, very fortunate and blessed to be associated with all of you. And looking at this Tuesday training that we do, a lot of new people now are coming in, and Gillian, she just joined our team, this year really. And so we're very fortunate. She's a tremendous, not just asset, but wealth of knowledge that we can all learn from. So I would encourage you to, whenever she's hosting or speaking, listen. She's really good. And as all of you are. So, but thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. And so on that note, let me just close out the evening for everybody. Thanks again, everybody, for a great topic, one of my favorite things to discuss, and I'm hoping I can make more time to join in on these calls. I am doing a lot of projects right now, including the Detox for Longevity, which is, if you aren't aware, just on a side note, this is open to everybody, and you can start whenever you want in October. Please go to the Dr. Ronnie Information Group. It's open to anybody and anybody that wants to take advantage of the skill set and the knowledge of Dr. Ronnie. And if you want to lose 21 pounds in 21 days, what better way than to leverage for life, okay? That's a great opportunity for each and every one of you right now. I don't want to lose sight of that. And we do have a Red Hot Topics on Wednesday with Dr. Ronnie, who's talking about food addiction. And I believe we have another business opportunity meeting on Wednesday evening and also on Thursday afternoon. Okay. By the way, the calendar for those who are following the English communications is listed as well on the Upline Pro Inner Circle. All right. And also on Upline Pro calendar on his website as well. All right. So thank you, everybody. I'm going to hand it over to you, Dave, and then we'll say goodnight.
Thanks, everyone, for joining in. And don't forget about the meetings that we have, the Zooms we've got. Next one I'll be on participating. I believe, I don't think I've got the opportunity meeting tomorrow. Maybe I do. I'll see you tomorrow. But for sure, Thursday morning, we've got our 10 o'clock in the morning opportunity meeting where we present the plan. So thank you, everyone. Have a great night and keep going and keep growing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank